Okay, welcome back to the 2013 incomplete records question. And in the last video, we calculated the value of sales for the trading profit and loss account. In this video, we're going to do the opening stock and the purchases. So the opening stock is very straightforward. It should be just given to us. So if we look at our assets and liabilities at the start of the year, it says the stock was 14,300. So we'll put that straight in here. And so all we need to do now is calculate the purchases. And just like the sales, total purchases is made up of cash purchases and credit purchases. But the cash purchases is very straightforward in this because it just gives us the information. It says during the year we paid for out of cash purchases 51,000. So that's our cash purchases figure. So we'll add that to the credit purchases in a moment to get the total purchases. So if we work out the credit purchases in the same way that we worked out the credit sales, except this time instead of looking at our debtors like we did with sales, we'll be looking at creditors, because creditors are those people that we owe money to for purchasing goods from them, or the company owes money to purchasing goods from them. So again, we'll have three figures for creditors. We'll have a creditors figure at the start of the year. Here it is, trade creditors 17,200. Then we have a creditors figure during the year in our bank payment section. This is what we paid or maybe transferred out of our bank account into their bank accounts to pay our creditors. And then at the end of the year also, then we'll have this, where's our trade creditors? Here it is, trade creditors 14,300. So again, I like to start with the bank figure, this 34,200. And that's the money that we paid our creditors for credit purchases that we had done during the year. However, we have this creditors figure at the start of the year, 17,200, meaning that at the start of the year we owed our creditors 17,200. Now we have to assume that during the year we paid off that 17,200, and that's included in this money that we paid creditors out of the bank account during the year. So we're going to subtract that from the total because we don't include any purchases that were made last year. So 17,200 we're going to subtract, and then we're going to look at our creditors at the end of the year, 14,300, and we're going to add that on because that's what you owe, or what the company owes their creditors for credit purchases during the year, but they owe that sum at the end of the year, so 14,300. This to get our credit purchases. So let's see, 17,000, that seems to me to be 31,300, but I'll double check that in a moment. So if that's your credit purchases in total for the year, our cash purchases we said were 51,000. We add that on, giving us 82,300. And then we have one last thing we need to adjust purchases for. Usually, we'll just check here to see if we have it. It says Kelly took goods from stock to the value of €80 per week. So if there's drawings of stock, as there is in this question, that must be subtracted from purchases, because we can only include the purchases which we use for resale, not the purchases of stock that the owner takes for their own use. So working out what €80 per week is for a full year, that's 80 by 52, gives us 4,160. And we're going to subtract that from our purchases figure. And that will give us a figure of, it looks like 78,140. And that 78,140 will just be put up here. And that's purchases done.